How's it, everybody? Welcome to the last part of our Sunday wrap up of our team home games. Got two videos on the YouTube already of the Thanksgiving and Black Friday games, and then just the rest of Sunday games, going through those, giving our reactions. So check those out if you haven't. But we'll just jump right into it, starting off with my Pittsburgh Steelers getting the division win in the AFC North, 16-10. Great win by us. Kind of ironic, the week we fire Matt Canada is the one week we get 400 yards just in like two and a half years, I think it's been.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, but yeah, it was a great team win. First game I've ever felt confident in my offense and was not in a panic state for 70% of the game. But I thought Kenny looked really good. Yeah, he never had a touchdown. His stats don't look the greatest, but I felt like he's finally been more kind of not second guessing himself with the shots down the field and actually taking shots down the field. I don't know if it was Canada or Freiermuth being healthy, but we're finally utilizing him, which he's kind of always been there for us ever since he got in the league. So he had a monster game for us, just pretty much picking up all the first downs whenever we were pretty much in the air. He was our go-to guy. Um, Deontay Johnson had a decent game. I know people are going to talk about the fumble where he doesn't do anything, but it kind of looks like he didn't see it. I don't know. I want to say he didn't see it. I expect picking Deontay. He's never been a problem in the locker room or a problem, so I can't see why he wouldn't give effort.
Yeah.
But and he looked better. I mean, even after we celebrated, so it looks like everyone's happier that Matt Canada's gone. But yeah, it was just a great showing from the Steelers offense. Like what we did, definitely a whole new team. I just want to. I'm hoping for consistency. It's kind of been the biggest problem with Kenny Pickett so far. He's been making those plays in the fourth. Put together a good game. I felt like this week, 4 quarters was pretty good. Got the ball moving. Never felt static on offense. But yeah, just moving forward, I want to see consistency. We have some easy matchups moving forward, so I want to say he can do it. And not don't have to put him through a gauntlet like some of these other teams have ending the season and get him ready for the postseason. Because right now we are sitting at that, I think, fifth seed. I think we're the top wild card seed, so we're looking like we're gonna get in. And I mean, our defense just does what our defense does every year or every week. Shout out to Nick Herbig. He had a sack this game. It's a huge one. Got a big hit. And TJ Watt with 2 sacks. Two? I think he might have had three. I don't 2.5. I don't know what the count with the Cam Hayward one, but another game for him. Something I expected. Like I said, I didn't like the Bengals offensive lines kind of this whole season outside of Orlando Brown. But great win by the Steelers for the Bengals. I think Browning. I like Browning. I thought he had a decent day. It was just a tough matchup. I mean, you have mere just pass rushers coming at you with no line, kind of what Burrow does. And but I thought he had a great game. I liked his attitude and just kind of his pose in the pocket. Didn't make too many mistakes. Had a pick, could have had two, but as a backup, I mean, I think he's a second year, might be a first year, but I thought he had a great game, or a decent game. I feel like the Bengals are going to be in some games at the end of this year that we wouldn't have thought without Burrow, but I think Browning might at least put them into some of these games.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game. I definitely think Browning had himself a decent day, and for the situation he was coming into. Um, Obviously, it's just tough defense in the Steelers, even with the injuries. They're still a pretty elite defense. That front seven is one of the better ones. Obviously the injuries at linebacker have kind of hurt and made it not as great as it could be. But just that the the linemen you guys have kind of make up for it, despite the lack at the linebacker. But I still think your linebackers are fairly decent. Kind of middle of the pack in terms of kind of like elite linebackers out there. So yeah, definitely. This could have been a different game if Joe Burrow was here, but yeah, got to give credit to the Steelers offense. First game without Canada, going over 400 yards. Kind of a easy matchup defensively for them. I know you said that their schedule is pretty chill for the rest of the year. So it kind of sucks to not be able to see them, against a good defense without Matt Canada before playoffs.
We still got the Ravens. I think the next
So
like 2 3 games we have the Patriots and the Cardinals, so it's like
yeah,
easier
so
ones.
yeah, really, the only one is Ravens, but the Ravens
Yeah.
are kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they haven't been super consistent this year, but that might be the true test of this offense uh, with post Matt Canada. I definitely think Pickett. It was nice to see, despite the kind of the running back coach was kind of running the offense. He did out attempt the running backs. I think it was like 33 pass attempts to 28 rushes. Um, Najee had a pretty good day, 99 yards. Jalen Warren kind of like 40, I think. So kind of that split backfield. They just barely were off in attempts. Um, but yeah, I mean, definitely kind of an easy one coming into this without Joe Burrow. And yeah, Pickett had a good day. I mean, any day without turnovers is a good day, really, for any quarterback at the end of the day, um, regardless of a win or a loss. As long as you're not throwing turnovers, that's how you win games. If you have the defense to kind of basically win the game for you, even when you are struggling. When you don't struggle, kind of a no doubter, no brainer. But yeah, I definitely would like to see kind of Pickett being utilized and try to abuse these kind of lower tier defenses and just kind of get a feeling out period for Pickett coming into the playoffs. Just let him sling it, let him kind of make the hero ball plays, um, unless they're like close games and you're trying hard to win games. But I feel like it shouldn't be going against the Cardinals and you say the Patriots. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Patriots. So definitely, I feel like the easiest one is probably the Patriots game. Just let him ball out, let him see what he can do, let him go off. At least let him try to. If he doesn't, can't help it. But put him in a situation where just let him throw it and see how he does, and just kind of prepare him for the playoffs because it's going to really be on him because we know come playoff time, QBs wins games, no matter how good your defense is. So they definitely need to start prepping him for the playoffs, getting him into more comfortable throwing situations, getting him touchdowns, getting that confidence up, just kind of building that repertoire between him and Deontay and Pickens. And it was nice to see Fairmouth looking really good. Kind of interesting to see post Matt Canada. Fairmouth has a huge game. So we might see more of that going forward, depending on if they continue to use the running back coach running the offense. But yeah, definitely, hard to fail against the Bengals right now in their current state. So it's just definitely a kind of a good game for Pickett and the Steelers without Matt Canada, to where expectations weren't super high. It wasn't going to be a tough defense, not a tough matchup by all means. And yeah, didn't have to do too much. Defense kind of led the way like it always does. And yeah, good win for them, much needed, just to kind of prove that hey, we can do it without Matt Canada, and to kind of get all the haters and doubters off of Pickett's back, and to kind of alleviate some of that stress and the nerves going into the rest of the year that people thinking he was the problem versus Canada, but now it kind of looks like it's Canada. So we'll see. These next couple games are definitely going to tell the full story, but I think got to keep an eye on the Ravens one. That might be the true test.
Yeah, definitely agree. Definitely a must win or a must needed win for us because if we lost this, it would just be kicking us when we're down after last week. But yeah, Kenny did just enough. I should have had a touchdown. That Johnson was definitely a touchdown. Held it long enough. But yeah, I like what I saw from Kenny this week. I thought he made the progress he needed to. And like I said, I like Najee. This is why I thought it should be a split backfield. Kind of always said he just runs better when it's later in the season when it gets to those winter months, December, late November. Just I mean, big body. He runs hard. Doesn't have the speed. And he looked better than Jalen today. I mean, ask me again in the offseason what I'd do with Najee. It's a little different, but right now we work with what we got, and I kind of like them as a split backfield. Offer two different things, and telling you Najee's going to keep heating up because yeah, when it gets cold, no man wants to tackle that 20 times a game. But yeah, definitely kind of an expected one without Joe Burrow, but it was a good game for me. Definitely enjoyed it. But for my division game, you also had a division game with the Rams taking down the Cardinals 37-14. A lot
Yep.
more clear victory for your team. I'll let you take it
Yeah,
away.
definitely a good win for us. I mean, I wasn't too worried coming into it, if I'm being honest, even with kind of the struggles we've been having. Just Sean McVay's record with the Cardinals, we just kind of had their number. They've beaten us twice in the last 14, make it 15 now, so we're 13-2 on them in the Sean McVay era. I had a pretty good feeling coming in this game, and you know what can I say? Our offense has looked phenomenal with Kyron Williams in, and it's kind of struggled without him. And now that he's back, kind of proved it. He had 200 total yards on the day, 140 on the ground, 60 on the air, 2 receiving touchdowns. So definitely very, very missed. And I'm a little disappointed in myself that I didn't trust him in fantasy. But I love to see it. You know, it was definitely my favorite running back coming into the year. Even last year, I really wanted him to take the starting position over Cam. Just never happened. But glad to finally see it happen this year. Big bounce back game for Matthew Stafford. Still kind of dealing with that thumb injury. Uh, Definitely kind of, you could see a couple throws that was affecting him, but he's got it, taped up, split it up as best as I can get it to help him out. And he had a pretty decent day. Did unfortunately have a pick, which I didn't really like because them being up kind of the whole game didn't really need to force too many. Um, so tough interception for him, but he did have 4 passing touchdowns. I was a little disappointed in Cooper Kupp. I mean, I know injuries have kind of been haunting him this year. Missed the second half of last week because of an ankle injury. Coming into this game, he did log a full practice. He was not questionable, didn't have a designation. And after like the first or second drive, he caught a pass, kind of took a weird tackle, and he was kind of limping on his ankle. But the whole game, the commentators and like the sideline reporter was just in conversations with him and with McVay, they were just saying that yeah, it was kind of bothering him, but he was planning on toughing it out no matter what. And if it's going to bother him for the rest of the year, he's going to tough it out. So a little disappointing to see him kind of be quiet, kind of irrelevant. Although, I mean, this was just a Kyron Williams game. Kind of did everything for us. It was good to see Tyler Higbee get some touchdowns after not having a single one the whole year. Did have 2 today. So nice to see him get incorporated. I definitely think we're better when he's kind of relevant and kind of get some production. But yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Right now, the playoff picture is a little tight. The NFC is really, really strong. I definitely could see us taking over in the second spot in our division. I don't think we're going to catch the Niners, but the Seahawks have a really kind of a tough schedule. They definitely got some really tough matchups, just some big names. They got the Cowboys coming up. They got the Niners coming up again with another division matchup, and they have the Eagles as well. And they also play you guys, which I probably will have you guys winning that one. So they definitely have some tough matchups that I feel like these are kind of lock-in losses for them, just with the way they're looking. So I definitely think we could overtake them in the second and be fighting for a wild card potentially. Definitely got to win a lot of games the rest of the year. Can't take too many losses, no more than 2, I'd say, at most. But it's anybody's playoff picture right now, AFC and NFC. The NFC's a little tighter just because there's a lot of names, a lot of teams that I feel like are kind of right there. Now that I think about it, maybe not so. Now that the Seahawks are kind of struggling, because I think the Seahawks were, I felt like my biggest issue, but after kind of just hearing myself say that they're going to struggle the rest of the year, maybe not so much. So I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't think it's going to be a good playoff run, but it'd be nice to see us get in the playoffs again after last year, especially. But yeah, much needed win. Glad to see them. Kyler Murray didn't have a bad day. I think we just kind of shut down the running game. James Conner was really irrelevant, and we know that the Cardinals look the best when James Conner has has a good day. So, uh, good win for us. They got their 2 touchdowns. Kind of, they did have 1 touchdown early, and then they didn't score really until the kind of late in the second half. So we really shut them out really well. And it was just kind of a garbage time touchdown. So yeah, I really like this game. Glad to see my team looking good finally. Kyron Williams looks amazing. I've always thought that our offense looked so much better with him on the field, and it was good to see him have a good day. It sucked that he just took away everything from the rest of the team, but you know, I can't complain when my team wins. I can live to see another year in fantasy, but I'd rather see my team win than I have a huge day in fantasy. If it means the Rams lose, I'd rather not. So
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. I've just started George Pickens, and I'd rather take the win in real life than in fantasy. But yeah, can't disagree with much with what you said. Besides, I definitely think the AFC is definitely harder right now.
yeah,
I
no,
mean, more
I
closer,
rescind my
but
comment. The AFC is definitely much tighter than the
yeah,
NFC, but
we just don't. It's just everyone's like around that 5 and 6,
yeah,
besides the Patriots. But yeah, but yeah, definitely a Kyron game. Love to see. I think his first game back, second game,
yeah, first came back
first game
straight
back.
off the
So
IR. Yeah,
yeah, pretty much you guys threw him right back in where he kind of left off, just that high usage, and it makes sense. Just see what kind of day he had. Being a Cooper Cup fan as well, was very disappointed with, especially with Higby taking the 2 touchdowns. But I mean, kind of get it. He just kind of, I don't know, just
yeah. I mean,
Tyler
to
Higby and
me, for
Kyron.
me, it's just the injuries have kind of been hurting him. I don't know. He's definitely older, kind of in that progression phase. I think past post prime, prime really ended 2 years ago with that triple crown year, and that hamstring injury is always a tough one to come back from. And then he, has an ankle sprain too to go on top of it. So
Yeah, definitely not his healthiest season.
yeah,
I totally, yeah, I get it. It's been tough having him, but yeah, I didn't really even need to use him this game, so it was kind of good. Just let him get some rest, not really have to
yeah, I
put his
started
body
him.
on the line. Huh?
Yeah, I started him in fantasy.
Oh, trust me, I did too. You don't bench Cooper Cup, so
I
it
mean, I
kills
might
you.
next week.
Yeah, it's been on my mind now,
Yeah,
but
unfortunately, until I can see some
yeah,
consistency.
but going in the game, I assuming the Cardinals probably was like Kyron Williams coming off IR. Tyler Higby kind of hasn't been used, so our main priority is just stop the receivers, which I guess you can kind of say they did
I
because
mean, yeah,
Puka,
Puka did have a quiet
uh,
game. Tutu Atwell did have some.
he had
Um,
3 catches for he had good
I mean, he had
yardage.
good yards, yeah, because they were just deep balls. So
Yeah, so
he's just a deep threat.
nothing really amazing from these
And yeah, it
wideouts.
was really just Kyron.
Yeah, it
It
was
was all
it was a
Kyron.
Kyron game.
It was a Kyron game.
Yeah, and I can admit when I'm wrong because I had the Cardinals. I kind of was buying into the Kyler Murray hype. Thought division battle would get weird, but yeah, you guys just took an early lead on them, and like, James Conner never got going to
Yeah,
start the game, and yeah, being down pretty much what 21-8. Yeah,
yeah,
21-8 at halftime. You're
28.
gonna have to start abandoning the run game. But great win by you guys. Definitely a whole different team when you do have Kyron Williams out there. There's a great balance, especially I mean, when you do get the receivers going. You guys shown that you can get them going with Kyron, so definitely a great
Yeah,
balance. And throwing Higby
I
just
mean,
as another target,
I think
huge.
I think Kyron just a lot of teams probably write him off just because he's so small, but he just plays so clean. Like he doesn't like try to force anything too hard. Just makes the cuts where they need to be made. Takes the holes that are open. Um, isn't afraid to meet linebackers for contact, and he fights for yards. As small as he is, he fights. So uh, he's definitely playing like a veteran running back in terms of just making the right decisions. I think that's why he's been doing so well. He's just making the decisions that need to be made. Nothing
Yeah.
flashy, just smart decisions.
And even though he's been popping off, I still feel like you can't like as like your opponents, you just can't come in and be worried about Kyron. Like your main focus is to stop Stafford and Cup and Puka.
Yeah.
from what they've done.
No, I get it. I mean, it makes sense
Yeah,
because I definitely think the factor of him being out on IR kind of played into it. You know, him coming off of IR immediately, no like wait period, no like one extra game of rest or one extra week of rest. Uh, maybe you know, I'm sure they probably kind of forgot about him and what he could do.
definitely agree. And your offensive line got better thanks to you guys taking um, Kevin Dotson from us. So that would hurt. I was a huge fan of him, but signed too many
Yeah, no, our
guards. But
line finally looks okay. Not great, but you know, better than it did
yeah,
last year for sure.
how many lines look great though?
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I can name like three maybe that I say is great, and then everyone else is just okay. And there's like a few that are like you're good, I guess. But yeah, you guys are definitely top with the top half of the league for all offensive line. I felt like, but yeah, just want to see what you guys can do with Cooper, Cup, and Puka getting going. Just as a offense as a whole, didn't need it this game, but definitely gonna need it for some future games. So
Yeah,
team is gonna be fun to watch going forward. Uh, and with that, we'll jump into the final game. Game of the week. Sadly, Jake's not here to celebrate because he would be happy because that was a nail biter. But we got the
yeah,
Eagles taking out the Bills 37-34. Game went to overtime. Um, I'll start. I was cheering for Josh Allen. I definitely was. He had a great game. I can't take it away from him. Play at the end, yes, he didn't hit Gabe Davis. He was getting blitz. We know what their blitz is like from the Eagles, and just unfortunate they couldn't get that pass through. It was tough. I kind of want to put the blame a little bit more on Allen, but definitely can go both ways, I think, a little bit. But I definitely put it more on Allen. Like I said, just couldn't get a stop. The Eagles offense just did what they wanted later in that game, kind of when it came to crunch time. The Bills were putting up a great fight. I think they had the lead most of that game, I
yeah,
believe, until that like fourth quarter where
yeah,
I think Josh threw a pick. Am I right?
yeah. He did.
They had a turnover or something.
I mean,
They had a turnover and that kind of changed the whole momentum.
they both had a pick, but
Yeah.
Josh's I think had more.
Yeah, I think the after Josh is when the Eagles looked like they were finally the Eagles.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, great win by the Eagles. I mean, God, one week you have a game-winning drive against Patrick Mahomes. Next week you go to overtime and lead another drive on Josh Allen. Just continuing to show why you are number one in the NFC and pretty much a favorite for a lot of people to win the Super Bowl this year. And pretty much why you've been what you've been these pretty much this last year and a half. So great win. Don't know what else to say. Honestly, that was a great game.
yeah. It was a great game. I mean, it was tough for me. Obviously, I took the Bills in this one. Tough to see them lose because I felt like this was a game they should win. Um, I mean, it was just a tale of two halves. Just dominant first half, 17-7, going into halftime, um, and then the Eagles just kind of took over in the fourth. But up until the fourth, really, the Bills were kind of just dominating them. I mean, the stats kind of tell a story. They out yarded them almost 200, a little lower than 200, maybe like 130 ish. But um, they out yarded them. Definitely, they only got one more sack than him, but um, time of possession was crazy. 40-26, 40 minutes to 26, favoring the Bills. So the fact that they dominate the time of possession like that and still lose is definitely very disappointing. I think penalties really hurt them a lot, though. They did give up 80 yards in penalties. Uh, but yeah, I mean, the Eagles have kind of really been that second half, fourth quarter team all year in these close games. Um, Jalen Hurts kind of seems to enter another level in the late moments, and yeah, gotta give him credit. Overtime win. Defense couldn't do nothing about it. Jalen Hurts just let him down the field, and then ran it in for the game winning touchdown. And yeah, tough one for the Bills. Got to give credit to Allen. He had a good day. I mean, that pick definitely hurt him, but besides that, it was a decent day for him. And yeah, just rough. They got to close out games. Uh, you got a 10-point lead going into half. Give up 17 in the fourth. That's tough. So not much else for that game. I mean, definitely rough for the Bills. Stat wise, they kind of had the Eagles beat. So this was definitely a game they really should have won. But yeah, the Eagles look scary right now. I mean, it seems like every time I bet against them, they just somehow find a way and will themselves to victory in these late games. And gotta give them credit. They look like the favorites right now.
Yeah, definitely had a great showing, and shout out to Jake Elliott. I mean, hitting that 60-yarder or 59-yarder in the rain to pretty much go to overtime was clutch. I mean, I think his longest was around 62, but it was starting to pour in that stadium, so I was kind of questioning it, but it was money.
That's
Um,
tough. Yeah.
but yeah, definitely. I mean, special teams is huge. Actually, having a kicker. Ask the Texans because
Yeah.
I've
I
cited
mean, that
different
one was
stories.
so close, though. I
That
mean,
one
you
was close.
can't ask
But
any more from
but
somebody that's
Elliott
not a
was
pure
59
kicker.
in the rain. Like those
I
are
mean,
two
yeah,
entirely
that,
different sins.
yeah, no,
But
I agree
yeah,
with you. I mean,
but yeah,
Jake Elliott is an elite kicker. He's
yeah. Top
definitely, yeah,
5 in the league. I probably have
he's
him
definitely up there.
moving up there. But yeah, like when we had a Josh Allen debate, that's still kind of siding with it. Defense couldn't get stops when they really needed to. And again, I mean, I have James Cook in fantasy. I was hoping for such a better year. Had a pretty good day in fantasy today, but you can't have Josh Allen as your leading rusher with 9 rushes. I get he got 81 yards, but I mean, he threw 51 times. Like he had the ball 60 times. Like
51
this, he's playing
times.
hero ball and
Jeez.
he needs help, and
That's
it's
crazy.
kind of showing in the record,
Yeah.
especially with
I
this
mean,
defense.
I know I kind of wrote Josh Allen off earlier, but he's kind of proven me wrong in these last couple games. He's definitely stepped that turned around. Um, and yeah, it is kind of more so on the defensive shoulders, just not being able to compensate for what Josh Allen does. They're not being able to match it on the defensive side. So yeah, I'll give him credit for that. He's definitely stepped up. Probably watched the video, saw me talking shit, and heard the
Yeah,
noise, and had
he
to
saw
turn it
me
around.
backing him up, and
Yeah,
he's like, he believes in me. That's all
yeah.
I need. But
Only that's the only
yeah, it was a
explanation.
great day by Josh.
Yeah,
Josh, 2 rushing touchdowns on top of it, and this is why I love Josh. Just watching games like this. Sadly, he didn't get the win. I had a bad feeling that pretty much the second they kicked the field goal because just the Bills just seem like they have the worst luck
yeah. They had the
right
worst
now.
overtime luck.
Yeah, just luck in general. Um, but yeah, great win by the Eagles. Definitely the Buffalo Bills needed that win more. I
Yeah,
thought if
no,
that
for
game
sure.
if that game ended up being a tie, I felt like the Eagles won it just because how they were playing most of the game and just where they are seating wise. Because yeah, Buffalo sitting at 6-6, gonna be rough getting in that playoffs. We went over the schedule. Doesn't I mean it gets easier than the Eagles, but it doesn't get too much easier. They still got some more tough matchups.
Yeah,
So definitely be interesting to watch. And yeah, we'll get Jake's take on it because he'll probably want to talk about it. Because definitely yeah, 2 back-to-back pretty much
big
games
win.
of the
Yeah,
year candidates
yeah,
that come out on top on both. Yeah, hey, we got 3-0 today. All our teams won. So great week. Yeah, that'll wrap up our Sunday game recap. It wasn't the greatest week. Definitely had some gems. Some not so great games that we could forget, but it was a great
yeah.
week in football. Definitely all 3 of us going 3-0. But yeah, if you like our videos or if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know how we're doing or anything you want us to talk about, any topics or anything. And yeah, check out our other videos. We have 2 more on week 11, week
12.
12, week 12. of Week 12 of football, our reactions. So check that out. And yeah, check us out on Instagram. We post for content, post our game predictions. And Jake is up one, I believe now. It was a wash between him and me. I think you had a decent week, Bryson.
Yeah, I had some tough ones that
There was some
I
tough
threw the other way that I lost, so I'm still down a lot probably.
ones. It's okay. You're coming back. The comeback. Everyone respects the comeback story.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah. But yeah. Catch us later in the week. We'll have Jake back on here. He wants to hype up his Eagles, and we'll go over Week 13 predictions. But until then, catch you next time. Hoots.
Oots.